However, we are all facing the pandemic. We are all suffering due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The connected world has become even more connected. Thus, I am happy to welcome so many participants from all over the world. Today, all need more cooperation, more dialogue, and more solidarity. So the role of the international cooperation is extremely important. The Asian Cooperation Dialogue is a unique platform in this respect. It covers 35 countries and covering the entire Asian geography, from East Asia and Southeast Asia, West Asia and Central Asia. We all know that Asia has become the hub of the manufacturing products. The power has shifted from the west to east. This part of the world represents the future of the world economy. What we need is more connectivity, more trade, and more people to people contacts. It is good that this platform outreach the business community. We as a business community will convey our request to the ACD Ministers platform. This ACD platform will serve the interest of our youth, women, and whole population. Ladies and gentlemen, Turkey links the two continents and is a bridge between the East and West. Turkey has been member of the Western institutions for many years. Turkey is founding member of Council of Europe, a candidate country for the membership of the European Union. Turkey has a customs union with the European Union and free trade agreements with 22 countries. Turkey is also a member of NATO for over 60 years. So Turkey has well connected to Western institutions. At the same time, Turkey links Asia and Europe, the two continents, and is a bridge between East and West. Our country wants to further enhance its relations with Asia in multiple dimensions. Turkish Foreign Minister launched the Asia Anew initiative in August 2019. This is a clear sign that Turkey is seeking to be more engaged in Asia. Turkey has also been opening up the Asian companies more in recent years. Turkey's largest trade deficit comes from the region. Our trade volume with the region is approximately $50 billion. We import 40 billion and export only 10 billion. So we need to further increase our trade volume and mutual investments. Dear friends, Turkey is an industrial hub in this region. Thanks to the customs union, geographic proximity, and logical advantages, Turkey has become one of the most important suppliers for the EU supply chains. We rank sixth in the EU's total imports with a share of 3.6%. We are the leader in the production of agricultural products in Europe. We are among the main suppliers of Europe in many sectors, such as automobiles, white goods, textiles, and construction materials. Turkish companies make up almost 1/5 of the top 250 contracting firms globally, with 44 firms on the list. Turkey ranked second by number. Turkish contracting sector has tackled projects in 127 countries. Turkey is also among the top 6 tourism destinations in the world. The sum of the convenient location has enabled Turkey to tap significant export opportunities by increasing diversified markets, and products. Turkish value has been appreciated by foreign investors with increasing FDI inflow. Total number of foreign companies has reached 74,000 last year. Therefore, we also want to explore the areas to improve connectivity, to discuss the ways to expand trade, and see how we can fill the missing gap in Asian cooperation. Thank you very much once again for attending this meeting. Dear friends, there will be 5 parts in our meeting today. First, we will listen to the presentation by Mr. Ahmet İhsan Erdem, the Vice President of the Turkish Investment Office. We will talk on the investments, environment, and business opportunities in Turkey. After the Turkish Minister of Trade, Her Excellency Ruslar Pekcan will be with us for the keynote speech. In the third part of this meeting, I will ask every country representative to share the economic state of play in your own country. In the fourth part, Professor Dr. Yuan Sak, the Managing Director of the Economic Policy Research Foundation, TEPAL, will make a presentation on the future agenda for the business community of the ACD countries in the post-COVID era. Finally, we will have a debate on the presentation and its findings. I hope that we will have a fruitful meeting. Now, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Ahmet İhsan Erdem, the Vice President of the Turkish Investment Office, to deliver his presentation. Mr. Erdem, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank everyone for this occasion, for their attendance. And I must say, I am delighted to be a part of this occasion. And I hope that everybody is and your loved ones are safe and sound during this COVID-19 pandemic. And without further ado, I would like to start my presentation. I'll make that. Okay. I think everybody can see the presentation. I hope that I shared my screen successfully. Okay. To start my, before starting my presentation, I would like to briefly introduce the Investment Office. Investment Office is basically an investment promotion agency of Turkey. It's a governmental agency directly attached to the President, His Excellency Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan. We have 2 main mandates. First one is to promote Turkey's investment climate all over the world. And the more importantly is to provide support services to the investors before, during, and after their entry to Turkey. And we have 2 offices. One is located in Ankara, and we have also an operational office in Istanbul. And we have also a network of international advisors based on key countries in terms of being the source of FDI, such as US, UK, France, Germany, and Italy, as well as Asian countries such as Japan, China, Korea, Singapore, UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. And all of our services are free of charge. Basically, you can regard us as a solution partner in Turkey, as a reference point in Turkey, while investing in Turkey. That being said, I would like to share some of the top reasons to invest in Turkey, some of the highlights about investing in Turkey, ranging from robust economy, domestic market, strategic location, favorable demographics, and skilled labor force with cost competitive advantage, and continuous nature of reform process, and business-friendly atmosphere, lucrative incentives, and competitive and vast R&D ecosystem, and sector-specific opportunities. To begin with, Turkey is the 13th largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity, and Turkey have been growing since the early 2000s with an annual average real GDP growth rate of 5.3%, outpacing many peer economies such as Poland, Romania, and Czechia, and Hungary. When we look at the general composition of our economy, it is mainly driven by robust domestic market with an entrepreneurial private sector, which has spurred investments and exports. When we look at the growth dynamics, Turkish economy has more than tripled over the past 16 years and is promising more growth in the future. Turkish economic growth has also paved the way of the emergence of a sizable middle class with an increasing purchasing power. When we look at the income per capita growth, GDP per capita at purchasing power parity have been almost tripled over the past 16 years. One of the highlights of the emergence of the sizable middle class is the number of stock of automobiles. In the year 2002, there were around 4.6 million stock automobiles. Today, that number is almost tripled and reached to 12.5 million stock automobiles. Turkey is rapidly urbanized since the early 2000s. So the domestic market is further supported by the emergence of new urban centers scattered across the Turkey. Now we have 23 cities with populations over 1 million people. And this further supports the domestic market activities in Turkey. With the vast and sizable domestic market, Turkey's customs union with EU economies and free trade agreements with 23 different countries, it is in total, you can reach a number of 904 million consumers without facing any custom restrictions. And in addition to this, Turkey provides a strategic location to the international business community to benefit from. When you put Turkey in the middle, you can reach to and draw a 4-hour flight zone. You can reach to 1.3 billion people and 26 trillion of GDP in Europe, Middle East and North Africa, and Central Asia. That's why many global companies either locate their manufacturing facilities, regional manufacturing hub, or managerial hub in Turkey. Namely, Toyota exporting 85% of the production in Turkey. Similarly, Ford exporting 77% of the production that is produced here in Turkey. And Nestle used Turkey as a production base for Middle East and North Africa. Hugo Boss has its largest production facility worldwide here in Turkey. And in the managerial side, for instance, Bosch, BSH, managing 89 different countries from their headquarters in Turkey. GE Healthcare is managing 80 countries. Knauf is managing 80 countries as well. ThyssenKrupp managing 72 countries. Intel 97 countries. Power China managing 63 countries. Verifone managing 60 countries. GSK 30 countries, and Hitachi Healthcare is managing 25 different countries from their headquarters in Turkey. And the result showed itself. Turkey's strategic location showed itself in the export of goods in Turkey. In the early 2000s, in the year 2002, there were around the export levels of Turkey is around 36 billion US dollars. Now we have a level of 171 billion US dollars of exports are Turkey doing right now. And when we look at the general geographical composition of the exports, we see that since the early 2000s, a growing momentum of shares of Middle East and North African countries, as well as Asian countries. In the year 2002, only 14% of goods are exported. 14% of this 36 billion US dollars of goods are exported to Middle East and North Africa. Today, this share is doubled and reached to 28. When we look at the product diversification, in the year 2002, Turkey was only able to export 9 products that exceeds 1 billion US dollar threshold. Now we have 35 different products has passed 1 billion US dollars threshold. And Turkey's share of the global export levels has almost doubled over the course of 17 years and reached to a level of almost 1%. One of the most competitive aspects of Turkey is its favorable demographics. Turkey has a population of around 83 million people, which makes Turkey as largest population right after Germany in Europe. It has a sizable population when compared to the regional countries. And this large population indeed is young. Half of this population is under age 32. And this gives Turkey an important dynamic population in the composition of domestic market, as well as having the necessary skills for running your business while investing in a country. And this young and dynamic population, further supported by the upgrades in our education system, namely number of university graduates almost doubled, tripled in the course of 17 years, reached to a level of almost 900,000 people, and number of graduates from the vocational schools also more than doubled, reached to a level of 500,000 people. When we look at the general composition of the education level of labor force, we see that the skill set have been dramatically improved from, for instance, in the year 2002, there are around only 10% of our 10% of our labor market educated from graduated from universities. Right now, as of 2019, that level exceeded 25%. When we look at from the perspective of international investors, according to a study done by IMD, an international business school in Switzerland, when they asked the international investors rate their experiences from 0 to 10 in different countries, we see that Turkey have been able to provide, passed and outpaced many peer economies in the perceptions of the international investors. For instance, availability of qualified engineers are graded as 7.35% out of 10, outpaced many peer economies. And when we look at the availability of competent senior managers, it again outpaced many peer economies such as Poland and Czechia with a grade of 6.15%. And we will look at the cost perspective. When we look at the cost perspective, Turkey also provides a very cost competitive advantage when we compare to the peer economies and as well as other economies in Europe, such as Bulgaria, Romania, Poland, and Hungary. And when we look at the base salary and plus bonuses of the managerial and engineer level of salaries, again, Turkey provides a competitive advantage when we compare with the other economies. And reforms is also another stronghold of Turkish economy and business atmosphere. Turkey has implemented important reforms in many areas, and these reforms is of a continuous nature, and it continues to introduce new agenda items into the present agendas to the business community. And one of the most important reforms was in the year 2003, Turkey enacted a new FDI law, which provide many important many benefits to the international business community, international investors. With this new foreign direct investment law, one of the most important feature that is provided to the international investors is to regard any investors as 100% Turkish once they invested in Turkey. And no matter the capital, no matter where the capital comes from, if a company invests in Turkey, that company regarded as 100% Turkish and has the same rights and duties with the Turkish companies. And as I said, Turkish government is keep on providing new reforms depending on the needs and necessities of domestic and international investors, as well as changing global needs, global and domestic dynamics. Some of the reforms that has been implemented, as I said, is one of the most important was foreign direct investment law, but namely one reform that is to of course, for instance, setting up a company. In the year 2002, it almost take establishing a company 38 days. Right now, you can easily set up a company in Turkey within 7 days. As a matter of fact, this 7 days means, according to World Bank Doing Business assessments, is 7 different steps. In reality, even this number is, even this process is much more faster. You can easily set up a company within just a couple of days. And when we look at the other global indices, for Turkey is one of the most liberal economies in terms of being open to foreign direct investments. According to the ranking of OECD's FDI regulatory restrictiveness index, Turkey is one of the most open economies when compared to other economies such as Russia, China, India, and even developed economies such as USA, Brazil, USA, Switzerland, Canada, Poland, and other OECD economies. And when we look at the World Bank Ease of Doing Business indices, Turkey, with the recent reforms, was able to reach to a level of 33 in rankings, out racing peer economies such as Poland, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. And this ranking has been reached in just a couple of years. Back in the 2018, Turkey was in a level of 60 in rankings, and it was able to reach with the reforms in the level of 33. And with that, Turkey, of course, have bilateral investment protection treaties with 83 different countries, and treaties to avoid double taxation with 86 different countries. And in terms of total tax and contribution rate, as well as international tax competitiveness, Turkey again offers competitive advantage in comparison with many different economies. And with that cherry on the pie, of course, Turkey offers lucrative incentives in many ways according to the needs and necessities of the investors. We have important manufacturing incentives for different sectors, which composition of tax deductions as well as exemptions exemptions of many duties. We have employment incentives, waiver of social security premiums and training supports, and many other exemptions. We have exclusive zones such as free zones and organized industrial zones, and we have incentives for service exporters, tax deductions for exporting services in engineering, architecture, design, software, and many more. And we have specific technology development zones to support R&D activities, and again, many important lucrative measures are provided to the investors that invest in R&D activities, such as tax deduction and exemptions. And again, we have R&D and we have other R&D and innovation incentives that are provided to the investors in those areas. And with the help of those investments and Turkey's dynamic industrial needs, we have R&D centers, more than 100 R&D centers operated by international companies. For instance, some of the selected foreign companies conducting R&D activities in Turkey, such as Ford, Fiat, and Bosch, Renault, Mercedes-Benz, Siemens, Toyota, Panasonic, and many more. All those companies are benefiting from the R&D incentives as well as the Turkey's important skill set in terms of researches. And when we look at the number of researchers, again, Turkey exceeded many peer countries in providing necessary skill set in the R&D researches, as well as Turkey have been putting a lot of fund to the R&D spending in the recent years, and again exceeding many peer economies such as Poland, Hungary, and Romania. And I would like to also share some of the highlights in different sectors which constitutes important opportunities and shows Turkey's competitiveness. For instance, automotive sector, Turkey is the 15th largest manufacturer globally. Every year, 1.5 million vehicles produced with a market of $24 billion and export levels is more than $31 billion. And another important sector is machinery and electrical equipment sector. Turkey is the largest TV and white goods producer in Europe with a market of $38 billion and export levels of $25 billion. Aerospace and defense sector is also another important sector with an almost $20 billion of defense spending with an industry of $8.7 billion. And Turkey has started to become an important exporter in that sector as well. $2.2 billion of exports are done in the defense sector. And in the aviation side, air passengers are around 210 million people. Of course, this is before pandemic levels, and we hope to see these levels, these normals in the post-pandemic era. Energy is one of the most important aspects. Turkey, as I said, a robustly growing economy with an important needs in energy sector, with a market of $66 billion and totally mostly privatized sector, open to private players. Local and international sectors can freely invest, especially in the renewable sectors. Turkey has a very untapped potential that is waiting to be seized by the global and domestic investors. Again, agro-food is an important area. $80 billion of a market level, $17 billion of export levels we have, and Turkey is exporting around almost all countries in the world. And infrastructure have been an important area of investments. We have realized around $127 billion worth of public-private partnership projects since the early 2000s. And there are more opportunities in the pipeline, especially in transport, energy, and healthcare sector. And financial sectors is an important area and have been an important area, as a matter of fact, for attracting foreign direct investments, and is a relatively an important potential in the growth of the Islamic finance, and Turkey has a vision to turn Istanbul as a regional hub of finance in the long run as well. And additionally, we can also add petrochemical sector in our sectorial opportunities mix. Turkey is have an important needs of petrochemical investments, because Turkey is globally the second country of petrochemical imports right after China. This shows that Turkey is in highly needs of new petrochemical investments as well. That being said, I would like to share the foreign direct investments composition. All these reasons to invest in Turkey showed itself in the FDI inflows. These competitive advantages of Turkey have been appreciated by foreign investors with increasing FDI inflows. Namely, prior to year 2002, in the past, prior 30 years, Turkey was only able to attract $15 billion of FDI. But since 2002, after 2002, in 17 years, Turkey was able to attract around almost $202 billion of FDI. When we look at the number of companies established with foreign capital in Turkey, in the year 2002, we had only 5,600 companies established with foreign capitals. But in the year 2019, we have more than 74,000 companies established with foreign capital in Turkey. When we look at the geographical breakdown of the investments, we see that lion's share are still coming from EU economies. More than 66% of the foreign direct investments has come from EU economies. And we see that growing share of Asian investors also showed itself in our investment mix, with an 18% of the total share. And when we look at the sectorial breakdown of the investments inflows in the Turkey, we see that finance is the number one. Finance and financial services is the number one, with a share of 33.4%. And right after that, manufacturing sector with a share of 24.4%, and thirdly, energy with the level of 11.3% share. And that being said, I would like to conclude my remarks, and I would like to thank you all for listening to me. And as I said, Investment Office is your reference point in Turkey, is your solution partner in Turkey while assessing while investing in Turkey. Please feel free to contact me and my colleagues. I will share my contact details with the secretariat of this event in order for you to reach me out. And I hope you have successful and beneficial webinar and event over the course of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Erdem. Dear guests, do you have any questions to Mr. Erdem? I am looking to everyone. So there is no questions. So now we are waiting Her Excellency Ruslar Pekcan, Minister of Trade of Turkey. Now we are waiting her.
Mr. President, if any of the audience have a question in the future, as I said, please, they can reach me out at any time in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Erdem.
الكلمة نسمعها الكلمة. الو خلاص المفروض انتم موجودين هنا على طول، حد موجود تخلونهم يروحون. تكنيشن المفروض علشان
Hi, Her Excellency Pekcan.
Hello.
Now, allow me to invite the Turkish Ministry of Trade, Her Excellency Ruslar Pekcan, to make her speech. Minister Pekcan is originally an entrepreneur, industrialist. She used to lead our Women Entrepreneur Council of TOBB. She has been always close to the business community, so the business community considers her as the representative of the business community in the cabinet. So once again, on behalf of all participating delegation, I would like to welcome Minister Pekcan. Your Excellency, the floor is yours. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rıfat Bey, distinguished President of TOBB, and the distinguished Secretary General of ACD, dear participants. It's a pleasure for me to address the esteemed group of the representative from business communities of 35 member states of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue. First of all, sincerely wish 2021 to be a year of full recovery and prosperity for our people and the world. We are proud to organize conference for this time. Since business networks provide a complementary channel to realize economy and the commercial decision on the ground, we encourage such events between our businessmen and the related business organizations. Therefore, we always ready to support this kind of organization that bring the business world together, which I come from also, as President underlined. As we have all witnessed, we have been going through extraordinary times due to COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic continues to have serious negative effects on the economic and the social structure of the countries. Business activities have slowed down significantly. The figures indicate that the world economy is estimated to have contracted by around 4.4% in 2020, corresponding to the largest decline in the global economy since the Second World War. On the other hand, the world economy is expected to begin its recovery with 5.2% growth this year, based on the figures of the IMF. I believe that the need for close cooperation among the countries have become more essential under such difficult conditions. As the normalization steps built up, we have to focus on the future and how our economies and businesses will recover. We need to focus on means of making our economic and commercial relations stronger, more inclusive and sustainable. I think that the presence of the distinguished participant at this video conference is a concrete reflection of the interest of all parties to promote cooperation and commercial ties. Let me note that the value of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue very much and will continue to be open all kinds of initiatives to be developed within this mechanism. Dear participants, as the Turkish government, we have focused strengthening our national health system, keeping the business environments alive, as well as supporting our people and business world to quickly adapt to the new conditions since the beginning of the outbreak. The Turkish economy managed to grow by 6.7% in the third quarter of 2020. This growth was particularly stimulated by the growth in the manufacturing, which was realized as 8%. Besides, as of December 2020, Turkey recorded all-time high monthly quarterly export figures. Despite significant economic downturns in major export markets such as EU, the increase in the export realized in the last quarter was very significant for us in terms of the recovery and the future. Let me mention that in the near future, Turkey will put all its effort in playing an even more significant role in global value chain. We will be pursuing more investment in technology and innovation-oriented sectors. In terms of the global supply and the value chains, we are open to strategic dialogue and partnership. Distinguished participants, many studies predict that the Asia region will continue to be the economic center of gravity of the global trade and growth in the economic decades. Currently, ACD countries consist of 37 of the world GDP and 36 of the world trade as of 2019. Turkey's relation with the Asian countries has gained considerable depth in recent years. Turkey trade volume with ACD countries is about 100 billion in 2020, which corresponds to the 26th of the Turkey's total trade volume. However, considering the potential of our economies, we do not see this level is as sufficient. Turkey continues to hold certain solid leverage in the terms of trade and investment. These are custom union relationship with the EU, production and quality infrastructure, and conformity at the EU standard, geographic proximity to the Western Hemisphere, inclusion in the global value chains, advanced infrastructure, as well as a large skill and young human capital. We believe these are strong assets for us, especially in the relation our dealing with Asian countries. We are open to utilizing these assets in partnership with the other Asian countries on a mutually beneficial and profitable basis. Constituting a bridge between Asia and Europe, Turkey is always ready to turn its theoretical privileges into economic benefits within the context of the partnership project with the other Asian countries. In order to intensify the trade dialogue with the Asian countries under the Belt and Road Initiative, we are contributing to revitalize the Middle Corridor, which is also referred as the modern Silk Road now. Recently, the first block train carrying export from Turkey to China, traveling 8,700 kilometers in total, has completed its route within 2 weeks. In the near future, we are aiming to establish logistics centers of our traders at the strategic points outside Turkey. This way, we expect to facilitate our access to global supply and distribution channels. Let me also share that recently, we have initiated the new generation specialized free zone models in Turkey. With these new free zones, we aim to encourage especially technology-intensive investment with the Asian capital. We aim to increase our export to the developed countries by creating more value added domestically. I believe there is also a high potential of trade in many service sectors, such as information and communication technologies, e-commerce, civil aviation, logistics, shipbuilding, tourism, education, film, and soap opera. We will continue to see many Asian countries as strategic partners. I think deepening of our private sector joint investment and to commercial cooperations will contribute our goals of generating production with more value added and technology. Aside from trade and investments, another important potential area of cooperation with the Asian countries is the contracting sectors. The experience of Turkish contracting industry provides a great opportunities and wide possibilities for Asian market, whose population is rapidly growing and whose middle class is expanding. Aside from the opportunity to realize mutual projects, I see a high potential to realize successful cooperation in third countries. Dear participants, at this point, let me talk about Turkey, Asia and new initiatives that was announced last year, indicating the priority that we attach to developing our relation with Asian countries. This initiative was built on a wide range of pillars, including political, cultural, educational, scientific, and economic cooperation. This way, we will be able to reshape and enhance our relations with Asian countries through a win-win approach for all of us. On the economic side, we plan several actions to increase our connectivity with Asian countries. Currently, we have preferential trade regime with 6 ACD countries. Our negotiation of preferential arrangement with some of the ACD countries are still going on. Moreover, we closely follow the regional integration efforts like RCEP. Dear participants, before concluding my words, I would like to remark once again the significance of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue Mechanism for our collaboration on many fronts. The ADC, which was started in 2002 among 18 Asian countries, has a well-appreciated institutional status today with its 35 members, contributing to the economic and social development of the Asian region. The pandemic disaster has proved us how cooperation among countries is compulsory to overcome global problems. Among other issues, we have witnessed that certain products were in global shortage and some countries only took care of their own interests. We must understand that unilateralism cannot be order of the future world. Countries can only arise together with their partners, we believe so. The history of humanity includes many incidents from disaster to the economic crisis. We cannot forecast what will be the next. In that sense, we should keep open our dialogue channels and prepare appropriate cooperation frameworks to support each other in case of unexpected shocks what we have faced this year. In this respect, we attach great importance to the Asia Cooperation Dialogue as comprehensive platform together the Asian countries to increase cooperations. Turkey, as the current ACD chair, is ready to contribute and lead every possible way to support our common objectives. I hope that today's events and the exchange of the views by the distinguished participants will contribute greatly to our vision of vision. As I wanted to underline throughout my speech, in the 21st century will be century of Asia. In this sense, it is time for us to make a new breakthroughs in actualizing the potential of our region and work together towards a much more prosperous future. I hope and believe that ACD can play a key role in this effort, and Turkey will always be ready to provide its support to initiatives that will serve our common interests. On this occasion, I would like to express my regards, good wishes, and thanks to all you participants, and hope to meet you in future events face to face. Thank you very much. And thank you also, President of the TOBB, for this kind organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Her Excellency. Now we shall proceed with your interventions. We asked all the delegations whether they would like to make a speech or not. I will give the priority with the delegations which requested to make speech. I kindly request you to limit your contributions with 3 or 4 minutes maximum. However, as the Chinese delegation informed us that the Vice President of China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, Mr. Zhang, has to leave. With your permission, I will give the floor to Mr. Zhang. Mr. Zhang, in September, I had a very useful conversation with your President, Madame Goyan. Please give her my best wishes. The floor is yours, Mr. Zhang.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Definitely, I will convey your regard to Madame Gao Yan after this meeting. and thank you for giving me the floor as the first person to speak. I really feel very honored to attend this this meeting, and I know this is the first virtual conference of Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Asia Cooperation Dialogue member countries. And I feel very happy to have this opportunity to join all of you to have an in-depth discussion on the economic cooperation and connectivity in the Asia. But first of all, I would like to extend my sincere congratulations on the convening of this conference and heartfelt gratitude to TOBB for the invitation. As we all know, the year 2020 is truly special in human history. The sudden outbreak of COVID-19 epidemic has accelerated the evolution of changes unseen in a century. With the global industry and the supply chain disrupted, the world economy slipped into deep recession, and the world is suffering headwind against the globalization and the rise of unilateralism and protectionism. Against this backdrop, all countries, including Asia countries, are making active and supportive policy responses to rejuvenate the economy and restore the economic growth. So far, we have seen positive and good outcome. Facing the impact of COVID-19, China has ever made tremendous effort to control the domestic epidemic spread and realize the full scale of resumption of work and production. China's economy has recovered steadily, with annual gross GDP increased by 2.3%, and the value of import and export grows by 1.9% year on year, which play a positive role in promoting the world economic recovery. We think the Chamber of Commerce and Industry are very important organizers and promoters of exchanges and cooperation among business communities. The current difficulties require us to further enhance our collaboration and show our solidarities in combating the pandemic and re-energize our economy. Hereby, I would like to take this opportunity to make three proposals. Firstly, we should uphold the multilateralism and promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation. As the defenders and the promoters of multilateralism and free trade, Asia countries should continue to formally support the WTO, G20, and other multilateral mechanisms to play their due roles. Efforts should be also made to accelerate the implementation of regional free trade arrangements like RCEP and further strengthen regional economic integration. We should collectively call upon our government to strengthen communications and coordination, build upon international environment that is conducive to trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and show up the Asian economy against the pandemic headwind. Secondly, we should expand open and diversified area of cooperation and strengthen international coordination and cooperation. In every crisis lies an opportunity, and COVID-19 have also brought new development opportunities. We should strive to explore new development opportunities and develop a new model of our cooperation while participating in the international cooperation against COVID-19 and maintaining stability of production and supply chains. We should accelerate the process of connectivity partnership, deepen cooperation in digital economy, encourages enterprises to expand their layout in emerging industries such as 5G network, big data, and smart manufacturing, and foster new growth driver and new advantages in international cooperation and computation. Certainly, we should deepen exchanges and cooperation among chambers and carry out various forms of trade and investment promotion activities. We should give full play to our own advantage and joint set up effective services platform through information sharing, online meetings and exhibitions and other activities, and by strengthening commercial legal services and policy coordinations, we can manage to create a better business environment for cooperation among Asian enterprises, help them to resume work and production, improve their capacity to do business internationally. Dear colleagues, the year 2021 is the first year of China's 14th five-year plan and the start of China's new journey of fully building a modern socialist country. China will speed up the construction of a dual circulation development paradigm with domestic circulation as a mainstay and domestic and international circulations reinforcing each other. The potential of Chinese market will be fully tapped and the Chinese door will always open to the outside world. As Chinese President Xi Jinping said, China is a huge consumption market, a global market, a shared market, and a market for all. We welcome Asian business community to take an active participate in China's new development process and share new development opportunities. CCPIT, my organization, as a major institution to promote trade and investment cooperation between China and the rest of the world, have long been in close communication with business associations in Asia. We stand ready to work with our Asian partners to facilitate dialogue and communications, business matchmaking, and industrial cooperation with a wide range of services so as to make greater contributions to the trade and investment cooperation and common development in Asia. I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Now I will give the floor President of Federation of Bangladesh Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Sheikh Fazıl Fahim. My brother, I look forward to meeting you, hopefully physically, on the occasion of the DHCCI meeting. Now, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Excellency Rifat Bey. Good seeing you. So we look forward to having you here during D8. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Her Excellency Rukhsar Bigjan, Vice President, Investment Office, Mr. Ahmed Ehsan Erdam, respected President Tob, Rifat Hizar Yolo, Mr. Presidents and representatives of Chambers of Commerce of Industries of ACD countries, esteemed presence, Assalamu alaikum, good morning and good afternoon. On behalf of FBCCI, we are the umbrella trade organization of Bangladesh, representing MSMEs to the largest sector across agriculture, quaternary, manufacturing, and service. We have 130 global strategic partners, many of whom are here present today. We thank TOB and ACD for today's initiative as the first virtual conference of CCI of ACD. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marks the birth centenary of Bangladesh's father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Bangladesh is moving towards a middle-income country to a developed nation based on the foundations laid by him and today spearheaded by our visionary leader, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. As you all know, the impact of COVID-19 on societies are beyond borders. We mourn and pray for all those we lost during this time. Nevertheless, we will prevail together and farther. Considering that 37% of global GDP is of the ACD nation, We may explore strategize through Asian country value chain initiative with industrial raw material inputs, knowledge, expertise from ACD member countries for respective domestic industry, while maximizing production competitive edge of countries like Bangladesh for exports to ACD market and beyond. Maximizing our value chains with global implication based on shared resources and knowledge, with PTA, FTA, and ease of market access in mind. 6 pillars of ACD, including joint ventures, joint R&D, skill development, e-commerce, manufacturing of high-value textile and apparel, leather, food processing, agro-mechanization, light engineering, joint seed development, agri-tech, fintech, edtech, energy, water, MSMEs, innovation, startup ecosystem, minerals, chemical, automobile, motorbike industry components, fishing, service cooperation in shipping, tourism, and maximize each other's comparative advantages, such as raw materials or value chain inputs, manufacturing comparative advantage, technical know-how, etc., are some of the highly prospective areas of ACD value chain initiative. From 2008 till pre-COVID, Bangladesh's GDP grew 400%, trade grew 240%. We reached 100% electricity coverage of 160 million people. Our poverty was reduced from 46% to 21%, including 120 social safety net programs, while hosting 1.2 million Rohingya refugees are all shining examples of Bangladesh's human growth. We have invested 60 billion plus to update our industrial ecosystem in multimodal connectivity, policies and incentives. Multinational companies who invested in Bangladesh are their number 1 to number 5 profitable ventures in their global FDI operations. 100 economic zones, FDI best destination for FDI according to JETRO, with additional incentives for industrial diversification, export markets with DFQF market access, and domestic market of 160 million. In response to COVID-19, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's comprehensive stimulus package of 14.60 billion, which is 4.44% of our GDP, were targeted to support enterprises from MSMEs to the largest, and grants for marginalized and informal sectors. As a result, we have our GDP growth in 2019 and 2020 was 5.24%. Aligned with Bangladesh's development trajectory, FBCCI board launched 2041 and an Impact 4.0 initiative in June 2019, with goals on post-LGC graduation technical preparation during the transition period, ease of doing business, SDG targets, 2041 develop Bangladesh, Delta Plan 2100 to mitigate challenges of climate change. Few verticals of our Impact 4.0 are FBCCI Economic Policy and Applied Research Center, Alternative Dispute Resolution Center, Tech Center, Institute, and University. Impact 4.0 DNA is indigenous with synergies with globally top-rated knowledge partners such as University of Toronto, Canada, Seneca, Canada, MIT, University, MIT Seoul, United States, Accelerating HTS, Singapore, and others to join gradually. Of course, we reach out to chambers of commerce of industries of ACD member countries to be part of our impact goals wherever applicable. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, we look forward to our future engagements, maximizing our knowledge and resource towards complementary cooperation. With out-of-the-box, sustainable, equitable engagements, we believe this is an introduction to be followed by measurable outcomes. Thank you all. Thank you, Rifat Bey.
Thank you, my brother, for your speech. I would like to give the floor to Dr. Ponchai Damvi Vatana. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, for all your support and being with us. We need to continue working with you. Please, the floor is yours, Mr. Secretary General.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Excellency, Madam Bush Saab, Minister of Trade, of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. President Rifat İşbirliği Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges of Turkey, UOBB. Distinguished representatives from the Chambers of Commerce and Industry in ACD countries, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to deliver a few words at the first virtual Chambers of Commerce and Industry of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue member countries. Please let me begin by thanking the Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges of Turkey for organizing this conference as a sideline event of the Foreign Ministers meeting, which will be held tomorrow. This kind of business forum is not new to ACD member states, but this conference is the first one held virtually. The event is very timely in nature due to the COVID-19 pandemic and is a mechanism to strengthen business networking in this community. As the outcome of the discussion today will be reported over the 17th ministerial meeting tomorrow, concrete proposals and recommendations are very much encouraged for future implementation for the benefit of not only the private sector, but also the public sector of all 35 member states. I'm confident that under the able chairmanship of Turkey, healthy discussions and collaboration will take place at this forum. We see the impact of the pandemic that caused supply chains disruption. Many businesses struggle to survive, forcing them to restructure and reform. Those who are more active and innovative prove to take less time to get back on track. In some countries, private businesses and that receive stronger support from public sectors and vice versa are more prepared with stronger tolerance. Public-private partnerships are a necessity, as governments alone may not be equipped with a full range of services and expertise, especially where innovative solutions are required for businesses to survive. The public and private sectors need to work together for fast recovery. I believe we need to strengthen the networking of chambers of commerce and its industry among all 35 member states, with the objective of business matching at the inter and intra sub-regional groupings. To that end, the Secretariat is required to provide support and assistance in all possible ways to extend cooperation at different levels and areas. That being said, I hope this conference will be a venue for experience sharing for the ACD countries and to prepare ourselves for future plans after the pandemic. With that, I would like to welcome all participants to the first virtual conference of Chambers of Commerce and Industry and wish you a successful session with concrete outcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary General. Now, the floor is Deputy Head of International Relations of Iran Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mining and Agriculture, Dr. Mohammed Karbasi. Doctor, how is my brother, President Shafi? Give him my best wishes.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Rifat. Yes, definitely. He has conveyed the best regards to Your Excellency and our colleagues from ACD Chambers of Commerce. If you permit me, I will just briefly outline our presentation in this respect. Excellencies, dear participants of the ACD Chambers of Commerce. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Rafat Hisarçıklı, the esteemed president of TOBB, for hosting these virtual conferences, as well as the opportunities that has been provided to Iran Chamber of Commerce. Chambers of Commerce of ACD countries have made their priority to empower the community by promoting security, expanding education, reducing poverty, increasing employment, reducing inflation, increasing the role of women in the managing and addressing Asian environmental issues. Such meetings can pave the way for member states. It is clear that the strengthening of Asia depends on the common will of the member states to coverage, which will be possible through interaction, reform of economic structures, and implementation of appropriate policies. Iran, with its important potential, such as young and educated workforce, rich oil and gas resources, and special geographical location, is a part of the rich Asia civilization and the gateway between East and West, and is ready for joint trade cooperation with ACD member countries. The geopolitical situation, security, and facilities for joint ventures in the fields of rail, air, and sea lines have made Iran a safe route for international corridors. Iran plays an active role in Asia cooperation by participating in the production chain, developing new markets, and sustainable energy supply. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, with the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, Iran's economy, like other Asian countries and the world, face a recession. Decreased sales and disruption of the production process are among the most important problems that occurred following the COVID-19 pandemic in Iran and the other countries. Restrictions on transportation have hampered the supply of raw materials and caused serious damages to the factories. According to studies conducted by the Asian Development Bank, economic growth of Asia decreased by 0.7% in 2020. This is the first economic contraction in recent 6 decades. Asia economic growth is projected to reach 6.8% in 2021, which means only a minor recovery. And certain long-term effects of the pandemic will affect the region's economic growth potential, and with rising unemployment will lead to income and trade inequality. Therefore, it is necessary for the governments to adopt the policies which provide more space for the private sector. By creating an atmosphere of trust in the private sector and supporting them by providing domestic and foreign investment opportunities, creating infrastructure, procurement, and incentive programs, the possibility of competition in domestic, regional, and global markets will be enhanced. Chambers of commerce can improve the quality of decisions, economic growth, and prosperity, and facilitate the business environment by producing economic information and transmitting it to decision-making authorities. In addition, chambers of commerce, by trying to adapt their business models to the existing risk, should consider themselves as the representative of small and medium industries and provide services to them. Finally, I would like to make the following suggestion. First, establishing a permanent secretariat for the chambers of commerce of the ACD member countries. Second, holding regular annual and biannual meetings. Third, establishing a committee to review the development of trade, cooperation, and joint venture projects. And fourth, developing the necessary conditions for the growth and development of the SMEs by utilizing technical assistance of UNCTAD, ITC, and etc. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Dr. Karbasi. Now the floor is economic expert of the Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Shakir El Mustafa. My brother, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I will be giving you a small presentation on the situation in Kuwait. Allow me to share my screen. Sorry, there's a screen change problem at the moment.
No, it's okay. Is it okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to extend my thanks. The Kuwait Chamber of Commerce thanks the Asian Cooperation Dialogue for organizing such a great event. Honorable guests, esteemed attendants, ladies and gentlemen. Just to give you a quick preview of the economic state of play in Kuwait. So, as everybody has mentioned, the coronavirus has taken a toll on many of our economies. So far, we have had a relatively controlled response to the coronavirus. This is mostly thanks to a strong and supportive government response. As you can see, the government has moved in lockstep with the number of daily cases that was popping up, and we were able to suppress and control the outcome relatively. This was also supported by a good and supportive economic response where we saw the government have hold basically social contributions and fees, doubling down on the benefits and protecting wages, and also offering loans to SMEs and businesses. Also, from a monetary side, we had the central bank here reduce rates, loan repayments were held back, and capital adequacy was adjusted. All of this allowed for a gradual return to business. As you can see in the chart to your left, the Kuwait economy is entering a new normal where we are performing at least 20% of where we were a year ago. Retail and workplace activity is down 20% relative to December of 2019. More so, oil prices are actually also moving in the same direction and stabilizing. And what this tells us is that we are returning back to a improved and better economic environment. This is being represented by stronger business and consumer confidence. And we see that in our basically domestic spending in Kuwait, where in December 2020, we saw people spending at a rate that is 20% higher than they did a year ago. So what this says is that the Kuwait economy is actually coming back and pumping back almost at full cylinders. Now, as we go forward, we will see a strong 2021 for Kuwait, and that will be mainly driven by the non-oil and private sector economy. While before we return to trend in 2022. Now, Kuwait's business proposition to the world is its Vision 2035, which is to transform Kuwait into a financial, cultural, and institutional leader. Our current 5-year plan, which is the 2020-25 plan, strongly focuses on the private sector and its development, and as well as providing an enabling business environment. Now, what's great about that is Kuwait has already enacted many reforms that have seen a jump in global indices. So Kuwait has jumped 14 places in the ease of doing business in 2020 and 8 spots in the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness ranking. On the other end, what Kuwait also has to offer is a strong projects pipeline with around 20 billion projects expected in petchems, construction and transport, and 10 billion to be offered this year and the next. Here at the Chamber, we look forward to cooperating with our Asian colleagues. And we are ready to put you in contact with around 60,000 members. We provide arbitration services. We opine on draft laws and lobby for the interests of our members and the investors that invest with us. And we're also looking to streamline the business environment in Kuwait. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for organizing this meeting.
Thank you, my brother. Now the floor is President of National Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, Tan Sri Datuk Ter Loong Yap. I think we have not met before. Last time when I came to Malaysia was 2014. I think we did not meet at time. I hope see you soon.
Yeah, I hope to see you soon too. Hopefully this pandemic over soon and we can meet physically. Looking forward. Anyway, I've been to Turkey. It's a very beautiful country. First of all, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Honorable Minister, Her Excellency Rusha Pekshan, and of course, Honorable President of TOBB, Mr. Rifat. Looking forward to meet you soon, and my fellow colleagues from the Chambers of Commerce in ACD member states, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning, good afternoon, good day to everyone. My name is Ter Loong Yap once again. I am the president of the National Chamber of Commerce Industry of Malaysia, representing more than 600,000 companies in the whole of Malaysia. Now, I'm honored to be invited to participate in today's Asian Cooperation Dialogue ACD and the very first virtual conference of the Chambers of Commerce and Industry, CCI, of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue members countries. Today's conference provides a useful platform for Asian Chambers of Commerce and Industry to come together and exchange of views on countries' policy responses and industries' experiences on how we can tide over the global pandemic crisis and post-COVID-19 new norm. After a difficult and volatile 2020 for the global economy, there's a growing cautious optimism that 2021 will be a better and promising in the year ahead, thanks to the vaccination program, but we are not yet completely out of the woods. Virus case counts are still rising globally. Even in Malaysia, in fact, we are in a very, very tough situation. And now allow me to briefly narrate Malaysia's policy responses and industry's adjustments to the unprecedented COVID-19, leading to the implementation of different stages of, we call it Movement Control Order or MCO, which is equivalent to lockdown in Malaysia here, to balance between fighting the virus and saving businesses and households. Now, Malaysia government is using a 6R approach: resolve, resilience, restart, rehabilitate, revitalize, and reform to fight the COVID-19 pandemic and stabilize as well as recover from the devastating socio-economic fallout and financial damage. A record-setting economic and stimulus packages totaling of $76 billion or equivalent to 21.2% of our GDP were rolled out to ease the financial burden on vulnerable households, to buoy cash-strapped small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and to provide liquidity to financial markets and to aid millions of people who lost their jobs. The Malaysian economy is now moving from stabilization to healing stage this year amid the renewed MCO on the rapid virus spread in recent weeks. It is a welcome relief that our government has announced that the first batch of vaccination program is expected to start by early March. Malaysia is expected to meet its target of vaccination more than 80% of our population, or close to 27 million people, by early next year. Malaysian government or Malaysian economy has gradually recovered from the second half year of 2020 as real GDP, which had suffered a record economic output annual decline of minus 17.1% in the second quarter of 2020 due to MCO or lockdown-induced sudden stop in businesses and economic activities, and has registered a smaller decline of minus 2.7% in the third quarter, aided by the government's fiscal and financial measures. In the 2021 budget, our Ministry of Finance expects the economy will rebound to to increase by between 6.5 to 7.5% in 2021, which is in line with the estimates by the IMF and the World Bank. The expected strong economic revival in 2021 will be supported by a record budget setting of 322 billion ringgit Malaysia, equivalent to approximately $80.5 billion US, equivalent to 20.6% of our GDP. All major economic sectors, namely the services, manufacturing, and agriculture sectors, are expected to grow positively. The ongoing and planned socio-economic and public infrastructure projects are expected to revive the construction and related subsectors, which involve about 140 sectors. And on foreign investments in Malaysia, total approved foreign investment projects in services, manufacturing, mining, and other sectors declined by 34.9% to 42.6 billion ringgit Malaysia, approximately $10 billion US, dragged by extremely cautious foreign investors' sentiment due to the severe impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, Malaysia also benefited from the relocation of supply chains from Asia due to the US-China's trade tension. We have Wistron Corporation, Nintendo Company, Smith and Nephew, and then we have IA Robot Corporation. These are namely a few notable companies that actually came to Malaysia during this period. And in enhancing Malaysia's conducive investment climate and continues to remain competitive to attract FDI in Malaysia, the government has enhanced the investment incentives and facilitation targeting at high technology and value creation industries. This follow with the establishment of Project Acceleration and Coordination Unit, a special unit at Malaysia Industry Development Authority, which we call it MIDA, to facilitate all necessary approvals and expedite manufacturing license approval for non-sensitive industry within 2 working days. And we hope have some extra incentive. First, 0% tax rate for 10 to 15 years for new manufacturing investment with capital investment around 300 million and above. Second, 100% investment tax allowance for 5 years for relocation overseas facilities or segments into Malaysia, extended to 31st December 2022. Third, relaxation of tax incentives conditions for principal hub, for global trading center, a concessionary rate of 10% for a period of 5 years and can be renewed for a further 5 years. And fourth, USD 250 million or ringgit Malaysia 1 billion customized package investment incentives annually over 5 years to attract targeted Fortune 500 companies and global unicorn in high technology, manufacturing, creative, and new economic sectors. Businesses, large and SMEs, as well as micro enterprises were impacted by the pandemic, though the degree of pandemic or impact differ across the sectors. The healthcare products such as gloves and medical protection equipments, as well as electronics and data solutions or software, continue to enjoy buoyant demand. The travel, tourism, and aviation, as well as retail sectors, are expected to take a longer time to recover until the opening of border to international travelers. Malaysian businesses have quickly made the adjustment to shield themselves and survive a challenge of this magnitude. Every industry must continually reflect, rethink, and readjust to rebuild their business coming out of this crisis. Digitalization and the deployment of technology is a tool to innovate and transform the usual way of doing business. The COVID-19 outbreak is a sharp reminder that pandemics that are like other rarely occurring catastrophes have happened in the past and will continue to happen in the future. The pandemic crisis has led to dramatic changes in how businesses act and consumers' behavior. From early on when the pandemic strikes, our Chambers of Commerce has been actively engaging with the government, Malaysia government, and agencies to provide feedback and inputs gathered from the business community to help in the formulation of public policies and measures to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the economy and businesses. The Chambers of Commerce will continue to take the lead and encourage their member companies to work together to pool resources or share best practices. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that the Chambers of Commerce in Asia will continue to organize more business sharing events and business networking sessions to strengthen and deepen our inter-private organizations and inter-governments cooperation and coordination in forging greater connectivity and enhancing trade and investment facilitation in the region. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Please respect the time limit. There are more speakers, so thank you very much to everybody. Now I will give the floor to the CEO of Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Duran Tumenjargal. We have established the Turkish Mongolia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I hope it's functioning very well. Now the floor is yours, Mr. Duran.
Hello, distinguished presidents and representatives from Chambers of Commerce, Industry of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue member countries. It gives me a great pleasure to participate in today's virtual conference, and I'd like to thank TOP for their efforts to organize this meeting to gather all the representatives to address the economic state of play in their respective countries to discuss the post-COVID-19 era of Asian countries. Mongolian economy has faced sharp recession during pandemic period. In the first quarter of 2020, GDP of Mongolia decreased by 7.3% to down to 44 billion USD. As a result of restrictive measures imposed by the government. However, we were able to keep our inflation low at around 2%. In 2020, Mongolia traded with 150 countries from all over the world, and the total trade turnover reached 13 billion US dollar, out of which 7.6 billion were exports and 5.3 billion were imports. Foreign trade turnover decreased by around 1 billion US dollar, which constitutes 7% decrease as compared to the preceding year. The export was decreased by 1%, and imports were decreased by 14% from the preceding year. However, the foreign trade balance was in surplus because of the economic recession, which can be attributed as considered as a positive, one of the positive results of the current situation. As of third quarter of 2020, foreign direct investment inflows Mongolia was decreased by 250 million USD from as compared to the preceding year, which was around 600 million US dollars. Now from the this is the brief about current situation, and in 2021 foreign experts calculate that Mongolian economy is expected to grow by 4.3%. Beginning with the wave, with the increase of second wave of the pandemic situation, we are now in the midst of some limited lockdown situation. Only 25% of the total businesses are open, around 400, and if this continues this way for more than 2 months now, then around 400,000 jobs might be lost within this year. But we are, the whole community, business community is waiting for the successful worldwide vaccination situation, and thankfully, with the joint effort from our friendly countries, Mongolia is working on because we have Mongolian population is very small, just 3 million people. I think we will be able to vaccinate, get 100% vaccination within the first half, within the third quarter of this year. And the whole business community is eagerly looking for the recommencement of the international trade. And we are waiting for the successful fight with the current situation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Now, the President of Philippines Chamber of Commerce and Industry and former President of the Confederation of Asia Pacific Chambers of Commerce and Industry, CASI. Ambassador, I miss you. I hope we can meet after pandemic. Now the floor is yours, Ambassador.
Yes, Rifat, I see the last time I saw you was about 6 years ago. Yeah, during my presidency of CASI, I visited Turkey 3 times. But I am wondering that after 6 years, you still look the same. You didn't age one day. So I want to import from Turkey whatever you are taking to keep you young forever. You let us know.
Thank you, Ambassador. Say my greetings to your wife, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to congratulate you for getting us together, the member countries of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue, because this is, of course, a culmination of world history in a sense, where the economic center of gravity of the world is moving from west to east. You have correctly identified that cooperation among the eastern countries of the world will yield mutual economic development that will be beneficial for our region. Briefly, let me explain very quickly about PCCI. It is the largest business organization in the country. It has the 77% of the members are MSMEs, and the balance are large corporations. We have 130 local offices all over the Philippines, and we are very much on top of the situation on what is happening because we are partners of government in terms of dealing with this COVID pandemic. You know, just very quickly, 2020 was a year when our economy went into the emergency room. The first 2 months, we were doing very, very well. And starting from March, our economy had to go to the emergency room all the way up to the end of 2020. However, we saw end of 2020 because of the traditional Christmas giving, economy started to improve a little. Government allowed more movement, freedom, and back to work in terms of our factory workers. So we see 2021 as the year where our economy can move from the emergency room to the recovery room. So we see 2021 as a time for recovery. Particularly, we are very happy when we see that there are vaccines that will be coming to the Philippines starting first quarter, second quarter, and of course, a lot more in the third quarter of the year. But still right now, our economy is suffering, but we have a Filipino trait that we are resilient. We try to work together. We have the cooperation spirit, and this is what is helping us actually recover from this economic problem. The government has actually provided a lot of economic stimulus programs to help both MSMEs and large companies recover. So with that, we expect that by 2022, we will be growing at least 6 to 6.5% per annum, and that hopefully that we will be back on the growth track because Philippines has been growing very rapidly since 2012. So insofar as my recommendations, just to close my short speech, Rifat, as you know, I was president of CASI for 4 years. However, my friends had convinced me, hey, please, you now have to help the Philippines. So now I'm president of the Philippine Chamber. But I still did not forget CASI. CASI is a regional organization. As you know, Turkey is a member, Philippines. And so most of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue are also members. So we need to actually get all of these countries working together, trading with each other, and growing economically with each other for the foreseeable future. And this is what I hope, Rifat, we will be able to accomplish, all of us in Asia Pacific and all of the other countries in our region. Thank you very much. Again, congratulations to you. This is a very, very wonderful experience, getting everybody together virtually. But I hope to see you soon, and maybe you can give me some medicine that will help us keep young as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. I hope after pandemic we will see each other.
I hope so too.
Now, on behalf of the President of Qatar Chamber of Commerce, Al Thani, First Vice President, Mr. Mohammed bin Tawar Al Kuwari, please convey my greetings to my brother Al Thani. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. I think you hear me.
Yes, I am hearing you.
His Excellency, Mr. Rafat Oglo, our friend, President of TOBB. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great honor for me to join you virtually on this forum, important forum, and to extend my warm welcome to all of participants from CCI of the Asian Cooperation member countries. I also would like to thank Union of Chamber of Commodity Exchange of Turkey and Asian Cooperation Dialogue for organizing this forum, which explore ways of boosting cooperation ties between our friendly country, Asian countries. I hope this forum would open a new horizon of cooperation and partnership between member countries, all aspects for the welfare and prosperity of all Asian citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Qatar, keenly interested to develop and to promote its economic commercial relation with all sisterly and friendly Asian countries. And there are many Qatari investment in these countries. Also, there is other investment in pipeline, and we hope will benefit both sides. Indeed, the trade relation between both sides have been growing and expanding speedily over the past few years. And there is already a noted presence of Qatari investment in many Asian countries. The year of 2020 has been major achievement of Qatari despite the significant challenges arising from outbreak of the pandemic of COVID-19, which has disturbed supply chain supply chain, and normal business operation around the world. Since outbreak of COVID-19, Qatar was keen to maintain its trading relation with the friendly countries and strengthen international cooperation framework to ensure continuity of trade and to engage for economic recovery. The state's swift response in implementing continued measures helped to limit the economic social impact of the pandemic of COVID-19. To allocate Qatari Riyal 75 billion package to support economy and to help the private sector overcome negative impact of the crisis. On the other hand, there is a lot of opportunity in Qatar market offering for foreign investors thanks to its highly developed infrastructure incentive offered by Qatar in the free zone and legislation and laws that protect investment. Investor will have the opportunity to finance, develop, operate projects in many sectors, including food security support, tourism, sport, tourism, health, education, and logistics. In conclusion, I would like to thank all of you, wishing you all success for the event, for this event. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rafat.
Thank you, my brother. Now the CEO of the Secretary General of Salem Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Manjula De Silva. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Minister of Trade of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Rifat, the President of TOB. It gives me great pleasure to join this first virtual conference of Chambers of Commerce and Industry of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue. It's initiative I think we should applaud TOB for taking, and we hope this will be the beginning of many such interactions going forward. So if I may say something about the Sri Lankan economy, we are likely to experience a decline in our GDP of about 4 to 4.5% in 2020, primarily due to the impact of COVID-19. The direct impact was somewhat managed with just about over 50,000 cases and with a death rate of 0.5%. Relative to, I think, a lot of countries in the world, it had been somewhat managed, but unfortunately, the economy had to take a much impact due to particularly of two sectors. On one hand, the tourism sector suffered a serious setback due to the borders being closed. And then the exports due to the fact that most of our export markets were facing severe economic hardship. So as a result, there had been a contraction in demand for most of our exports. But the good news is in 2021, we are all expecting a significant recovery of about 5 to 6%, hopefully with the help of the vaccination program, because that should help the export markets to bounce back and also for the tourist arrivals to pick up. Even at present, we are experimenting by having something like a bubble concept introduced so that tourists can come to Sri Lanka, stay in certain restricted areas and go back without having too much exposure between them and the rest of the community. So that has been so far successful, and we hope this can be extended going forward. When you look at the external trade side, both imports and exports have declined. The imports have declined more than the exports. So as a result, the trade balance has improved somewhat, but hopefully in 21 and going forward, we should see a pickup in both imports and exports. The local currency, the Sri Lanka rupee, depreciated at about 2.7% for the year against the dollar, a little bit more against the euro, which was strong. So there was a dip of about 15% against the euro. On other economic variables, inflation has been maintained at 4.5%, and the government adopted aggressive monetary policy, cutting interest rates 4 times during the year to stimulate the economy. And also a moratorium was introduced, especially to support the SME sector, and that was further extended as we experienced the second wave. What is interesting to note is that our local stock market has recently reached an all-time high, breaking all previous records, which is a good reflection of the level of optimism that we see in the country of a potential recovery in 2021, because usually markets are a lead indicator. I mean, they don't go by past results, they tend to look forward. And what you see ahead of us is the prospects of a strong recovery. So we had a 10.5% growth in our all-share index, which indicates that there is a lot of hope in the air of a recovery supported by the vaccination program. So I would like to invite all of you, particularly my fellow colleagues from all the chambers who are present here, to get in touch with the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce as well as the other chambers who are represented today. I think you will get there all the details very soon. And we also have the Export Development Board of Sri Lanka represented here. So if you can get in touch with any of us, we can organize bilateral webinars and virtual B2B meetings to promote trade, tourism, and investment. In fact, there are a lot of new investment opportunities also available now in Sri Lanka. There is a new port city coming up in Colombo, which is offering a lot of greenfield opportunities for investment. And plus, there are many other sectors for which the government has offered a range of incentives, one of them being pharmaceutical manufacturing, which is again an industry which will see a lot of positive opportunities going forward. So in addition to the bilateral webinars, I would like to propose to the top and to everybody else who's driving the Asian Cooperation Dialogue to consider some kind of a multilateral fair, like a trade, maybe trade, tourism, and investment promotion fair that we can all get together. I mean, it will have to be on a virtual platform because many are still under lockdown and with travel restrictions. A physical event may not be possible. But if we can do a virtual event, maybe over 2 or 3 days, I think that will be a good way of leveraging on this excellent platform that you have built. So on that note, I would like to thank you and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, the President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Uzbekistan, Dr. Ethem Ikramov. I received your letter. I will send you a team for the university to see the building as TOBB University, together with Uzbek Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We established a university in Tashkent. My brother Ethem is also the rector of the university. Now the floor is yours, my brother.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, Your Excellencies. First of all, it is a great honor for me to participate for this very important and first virtual conference of the Chamber of Commerce and Industries of Asian Cooperation Dialogue member countries. And I'm really thankful for organizer, officials, partners from Turkey, and especially for President, my elder brother, Mr. Rifat Hisarşıklıoğlu, for organizing and give us opportunity to share our vision, how we survive in pandemic COVID-19 and what we should do after the pandemic period. And during taking into the account the limited on time, I want to share the 4 proposals for the draft of resolution of this first virtual conference. First of all, we are now teach more about the economy and how it's possible to use the e-commerce, electronic commerce for international trade. And it should be noted that the experience of the countries like Turkey, Korea, Japan, Singapore, and others countries, which is used very actively and successfully e-commerce systems, and we should study how to do it and promote it through our members, entrepreneurs, and business society. Secondly, today, the pandemic is give many casualties and suffer especially for youth generation of entrepreneurs. And we should note that the entrepreneurship training center under our chambers and commerces and industry, it will be very good opportunity to share our educational programs. And I again thankful for TOBB, our Turkish colleagues, and especially for President Rifat Hisarşıklıoğlu, the Professor Güvensak and Yusuf Sarinay. This is a former and existing rector of one of the famous TOBB A2 in Ankara University, which is famous not only in Turkey but worldwide. And we can use this platform, and I am thankful to give opportunity to organize the branch of this university in Tashkent, in the central part of the Tashkent. Thirdly, we should thinking about support and protect the investment and investors of all the Asian countries, and it is necessary to establish the cooperation between the international commercial arbitrage centers. And we have the good experience for that from the ECOCCI, from the Turkish Council, and I am sure that this experience which we have with the Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Korea, China, give us opportunity to increase the cooperation among the ACD. Fourthly, it is very effective to use the potential of the business consuls, which we create, for example, Uzbekistan with up to 20 business consuls with our partners from Chamber of Commerces. And tomorrow, now I participate on this conference in the ancient and modern Bukhara city. Day after tomorrow, I will be pleased to invite physically the great delegation from Saudi Arabia, and I congratulate my partner, Mr. Ajlan Al-Ajlan, and thankful to send the Vice President with the delegation to Bukhara and Tashkent. I am sure that such business consuls, which give us opportunity to share and cooperate, the mutual cooperation between entrepreneurs, give us opportunity in post-pandemic period. We also should mention, and I'm absolutely agree about the fairs, which is mentioned by our previously speakers. We should find the new platforms, and I invite all of yours to our festival in Kokand City in September 2021, and I am thankful the Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry and World Craft Council and the chairman, the president, Dr. Gada Kadumi, to give us opportunity for next 4 years be a presidential involved craft council as a Pacific region. Dear colleagues, thank you very much again for this unique opportunity, and I wish you all very good success 2021 year. Thank you, Your Excellency Chairman, Mr. Rifat Hisarcıklıoğlu. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Now the floor is Tajikistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry, my brother Cemşit. The floor is yours. Mr. Cemşit.
Thank you very much. Dear President of TOBB, my brother, Mr. Rifat Hisarcıklıoğlu, dear colleagues, it's a great honor for me to participate in today's event, the first virtual conference of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Dialogue of the Asian Cooperation member countries. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the co-organizers of this event, the Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchange of Turkey, and its President Mustafa Rifat Hisarcıklıoğlu, Secretary General Asian Cooperation Dialogue, for inviting me to participate and speak at this important event for Tajik business. It's encouraging to know that Dialogue in Cooperation in Asia, established in 2002, is currently the only formal mechanism for dialogue and cooperation covering the whole of Asia, in which the Republic of Tajikistan has been actively participating since the beginning. And most importantly, the objectives of the dialogue, developing exchange and cooperation among the participating countries in the fields of agriculture, energy, poverty eradication, promoting cooperation and development in Asia through the dialogue coincide with the main mission of the Chambers of Commerce and Industry. That's why we believe to intensify and continue our dialogue, a dialogue of the Chambers of Commerce of the participating countries within the Asian continent. Dear friends, it's very important for countries with economic in transition to strengthen their export opportunities in the process of integration into the world economy. This is especially important for the Republic of Tajikistan, since the further development of the economy is largely due to the growth of export. Currently, the following industries are developing in the Republic of Tajikistan: hydropower, mining, agriculture, light industry, food processing, construction, transport, health, tourism, and environmental protection. And we are ready to cooperate by attracting investments in these priority areas. The Republic of Tajikistan has developed very good business and partnership relations with the countries of the Asian region. And this good relationship between the countries of the region increases the existing good investment, attractiveness, and business climate of the region. I'm convinced that this dialogue will act as a catalyst, and soon our partners in the dialogue will have new business opportunities. New projects will be implemented, and there are all the prerequisites for this. We consider it advisable to develop the exhibition and congress events, forums, business meetings in order to improve trade and investment cooperation, and taking this into account to actively involve business in the events held in our countries by providing benefits and preferences. In conclusion, I want to assure you, my dear colleagues, that the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Republic of Tajikistan intends to develop and cooperate with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Asia region in the future in the framework of dialogue and a bilateral format, and comprehensively promote the expansion and strengthening of trade, economic and investment cooperation. We are always ready to consider any proposals for mutually beneficial cooperation, raising capital, introducing advancing technologies. Thank you very much for your attention, dear colleagues, dear friends, and take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Now the floor is Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Engineer Reta Binjuma, the President of the Oman Chamber of Commerce. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. But I must inform you, Mr. Reda Binjuma, the President, could not join this meeting. My name is Salem Abdullah Rawas. I represent him and represent Oman Chamber of Commerce in this meeting. If you allow me, I will continue my speech. I am pleased to participate in this meeting, the first virtual meeting conference with the all Asian dialogue countries. And first of all, would like to thank Turkey as a country and TOBB as an organization organizing this meeting. And special thanks for you, Mr. Rafat, for moderating this meeting. I hope it will continue and it will give all the participants a good benefit for each country. My country, Oman, possesses a unique geographical location with excellent infrastructure, material infrastructure such as ports, airports, and roads network, and also a legal framework. As a country, we follow the free economic principle. That's why we deal with many countries of the world on import and export. Oman linked with almost 26 countries with a special free trade agreement and special economic relationship. These total countries, they contain about 1 billion of inhabitants or population. And through a 1,000-mile radius from Oman, you can reach markets of more than 2 billion of people. Oman is a member of the GCC countries, and also we are member of the Great Arab Free Trade Area, which is contain all the Arab countries. We have a free trade agreement with United States of America, and we have signed the free trade agreement with Singapore. Through Oman, you can reach all these countries without any taxes of your goods or custom duties. We welcome all the people who would like to take advantage of this relationship. In the country, anyone can come and establish his own business freely, can own up to 100%. There is no personal income tax. The corporate income tax is only 15%, and there are 5 free zones, free trade zones, or special economic zones, where you also can have own up to 100% of your business, and there is no income tax for 20 to 30 years. All these advantages, we welcome everyone who would like to take these advantages and the location of the country, which Oman possesses with the other countries, and you are welcome whether as a trader or industrialist. This is what we can offer to you. We hope everyone will come to invest in Oman. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Now the floor is Said Zaman, the General Manager of the Afghanistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Yes, my brother, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you. So I would like to start. His Excellency Mr. Rukhsat Pekan, Minister of Trade, Republic of Turkey. His Excellency Mr. Refat Sarakçıoğlu, President of TOBB, Chambers Presidents, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be with you virtually in the first conference of Chambers of Commerce of ACD member countries. I wish to thank TOBB and government of Turkey for hosting this conference. This is truly an appropriate setting that brings together business community leaders to deliberate how to help and shape a new era of commercial exchange and economic cooperation in Asia. In order to achieve our aspiration for Asia as a driver of global economic growth in the 21st century, there is need for equitable and coherent strategies for multilateral economic cooperation, trade, and connectivity. As we are all aware, Asia is the process of transformation from conceptual region to a punctual region. A continent with 17 Asian countries accounting for 50% of global investment in electricity, road, telecoms, rail, water, port, and airport between 2007 to 2018. By virtue of Afghanistan's location on the crossroad of Eurasia, Afghanistan is a natural land bridge for transit and commerce between East and West, and the rich markets of Central and South Asia. Afghanistan is well positioned to contribute to promote trade and transport links between European and Asian economic center. Today, the dark decades are behind us. We have taken great strides toward regaining Afghanistan's central position for trade exchange within the larger region. Afghanistan stands ready to help accelerate economic collaboration and growth in Asia by facilitating the transfer of energy, railroad, transportation, communication, and trade development. Afghanistan is one of these places of intersection as a historical trade road ranging from the Grand Trunk Road to Lapis Lazuli and Silk made here. Therefore, the following initiatives will help improve regional connectivity and enhance trade between regional partners and Afghanistan. To build a coherent economic goal free of contrasting political incentives, to integrate our economies and let the good talent, technical assistance, machineries, and capital investment move easily in the region, to help improve necessary infrastructure to ease the fast and straightforward flow of goods in the region, to sign more bilateral and multilateral MOUs and agreements, to work on a mechanism to ensure that commitments are fulfilled. Governments should simplify and harmonize their trade and investment procedures and set trade-friendly custom tariffs. The private sectors should be given their proper role in developing a viable regional economic cooperation with direct and growing relation between the chambers of commerce, to exchange more business delegation between the countries. For further integration, nations for the region should develop joint chambers of commerce and encourage any other joint economic initiatives in the region. And we need to pave the path for establishing of free trade zones in this region. But I would like to conclude my speech with saying that it is favorable geographical location and the route through our territory that make Afghanistan an inevitable part of any plan that will integrate Asia economies. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the partnership, and we are looking forward for your further cooperation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, my brother. Now, the Vice President of the Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mohammed Attar Sultan Chawla. The floor is yours. Mr. Chawla?
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Hi, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mustafa. Mr. Rifat. Thank you, Mr. Rifat. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Rifat and his team for organizing such a great event, which was extremely needed and required as well. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Ahmed Hassan for giving such an informative presentation on Turkey and the investment which we can do in Turkey as well. We all understand that Pakistan is a on a crossroad where we are actually moving in a direction, in a very fast direction, where we are bringing reforms to increase the economy as well. And Pakistan economy lately in the last 6 months have grown, the exports have grown as well because of the pandemic, where we have got a lot of orders from international markets for textiles especially. Pakistan has worked a lot recently, and now Pakistan is open for international investments, not only in areas where textile and agriculture is concerned, because agriculture and textile are those two areas where we are very strong. Textiles being the largest proportion of our exports around the world. However, our exports, even though that they are only 24 billion have reached 24 billion in the last year, but it is not the potential that Pakistan has. Pakistan's potential is much more than that. On the other side, we have imported around $43 billion of raw material and finished goods. This shows that Pakistan has a lot of potential in setting up industries which are not here in Pakistan. Just to name few, that is the engineering side. We have, except the automobile sector that we have, we do not produce a lot of other parts which are used in the automobile sector. And automobile sector is one of those sectors which is actually growing a lot in Pakistan because of the agriculture boom in Pakistan. Thus, we get a lot of automobile boom as well. So I would like to invite those countries to invest, come and invest in Pakistan, especially from the engineering sector, which can support us to produce raw material for the automobile sector. Secondly is the pharma sector. Pharma, because Pakistan is a population of 213 million plus people. So we all understand that pharmaceutical is one side where we all require, because you can't go by the bypass the pharma sector. So pharmaceutical is one side where we believe that there is huge potential in investment in Pakistan. So again, I invite all the countries to come forward and invest in Pakistan. Pakistan is not, right now, for the last many years, is working in joint partnership, not only with public-private partnerships for the Pakistani people, but also we, like CPAC, we are also working with international partners to come and invest in Pakistan in property development, where special zone development for the businesses. Right now, we have a lot of projects available, and I believe that Pakistan is one of the best areas to come and invest, even for the property development for special zones. Lastly, this initiative, taking the advantage of this forum, I would like to propose that we should have an Asian Cooperation Dialogue Chamber of Commerce as well. So this should be the forum where the largest economy of the world, like Asia has around 4.4 billion people with the economy size of around 31.23 trillion GDP. And so I believe that if Asian countries can get together, right, as we have done today, and as we have been from the federation point of view, I'm not talking about from the point of view of the government, obviously from the federation point of view, from the businesses point of view, if we can get together and work together and form an Asian Cooperation Dialogue of Chambers, I believe, inshallah, it will be beneficial for all of us. Thanks a lot again for hosting us. Thanks a lot again for giving this opportunity, and I hope it will be beneficial for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother Chavla. Now I have a question. Is there anyone to take the floor? Please hang your hand or write in chat. Is there anyone? Jamal? You are, oh, okay. one moment. Your microphone is closed. My brother, Philistine Chamber of Commerce, CEO Jamal, the floor is yours. Open your microphone, please. The microphone is closed, my brother. Open your microphone. Yes, it's okay. But we couldn't hear you. Maybe take your microphone to your mouth. We couldn't hear it. Jamal. Kim istiyor? Nepal'de mi istiyor? Jamal, we couldn't hear you. It's a very low. Jamal, sorry. No, maybe you will join it again, close and join it again. We will give again your connection. We couldn't hear you. Brother, sorry. Mustafa will touch you. Now I will give the Nepal the floor. Afterwards, I will give floor again to you, Mr. Jamal. Mustafa, touch Jamal again.
Thank you, President.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Fine, sir.
I have never been in Nepal.
You should, we invite you to Nepal, sir. You should be here, sir. It's a beautiful
Inshallah, country. I want to see Mount Everest.
Thank you, sir. Sure, sir.
Interesting place for me, but I have never been in Nepal.
It's a beautiful country, so you should be here, sir.
Yes, I heard more from my friends, but inshallah in the future.
We will invite you officially, sir. You should visit Nepal, sir.
Inshallah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So
yeah.
Let's start, sir.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Her Excellency, Rushar Pikan, Minister of Trade, Republic of Turkey, Mr. Rifat, President of TOB, Dr. Ponchai, Secretary General of ACD, distinguished government official from Turkey, ACD member countries, distinguished business leaders from ACD members countries, all participants of this conference, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on the behalf of FNCCI, the Apex Chamber of Nepal, with a network only second to the government of Nepal, I would like to thank the TOB and government of Turkey for organizing important conference as sideline event of foreign minister meeting of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue ACD. There is a huge potential of regional and inter-regional integration under ACD. For this, we need to improve connectivity among us. Connectivity requires transport infrastructure building such as highways, railways, air links, sea routes, as well as digital connectivity among 35 members of ACD. Both the software, cross-border policy related and hardware trade facilitation infrastructure related side of connectivity must be built and sustained. For the trade connectivity, we need to improve the people-to-people relation among us. For this, there is a need to improve the exchange of tourism, better air links among ACD countries, initiate our connectivity. Turkey is well positioned to be the linking hub between Asia and Europe. In this regard, ACD initiated by Turkey certainly serve as missing link, not only among Asian corporations, but Asia linkage with EU as well. Nepal has been direct Turkish Airways link with Turkey, looks forward to utilize Turkey as a gateway to Europe and related ACD nation. It is unfortunate that due to COVID-19, the world is facing economic recession and there is a global uncertainty. The role of regional and global cooperation has never been more important than at such time of crisis. Now let me brief about economic state of play in Nepal. World Bank Group Nepal, World Bank Group Doing Business Index 2020 ranks Nepal as 94th in the most favorable business climate. In this, Nepal ranks 3rd position among SHARC countries. Nepal has sizable 30 million population and has varied topography, 59 meters to the highest point of the earth, and Mount Everest at 8,848.86 meters above the sea level. Nepal is endowed with 57% young working population age 15 to 59 years, has low cost of labor compared to peer countries. Nepal is a member of SHARC, BIMSTEC, WTO, MIGA, BRI, UNCTAD, and many important multilateral bodies. Has signed BIPA with 5 countries, signed DTAA with 11 countries, including neighbors India and China. Has treaty and trade and treaty and transit with India, transit and transportation agreement with China, allows up to 100% of ownership on FDI, on which full repatriation is allowed, has competitive corporate tax, 25% in general and 20% in some of the private sectors such as energy, transportation, infrastructure, and manufacturing. Let me share some static advantages of Nepal. Nepal is located between 2 huge population and largest market in the world, has duty-free open borders access to India, and 8,000 plus products of duty-free access to China. 77 products have duty-free access in US till 2026, and duty-free quota-free access to EU. Though a landlord country, Nepal has access to India's 2 eastern seaport, Kolkata and Visakhapatnam. And recently China has given access to utilize 7 ports, 3 dry ports inside China and 4 seaport, including Tianjin and Shenzhen seaport as a transit to 3rd country. Having such a attractive potential to trade, tourism, and investment, as well as due to the advantageous static location of Nepal, I would take an opportunity to welcome the businessmen from all the 35 members of ACD nation to come to Nepal and establish business relation. Lastly, I would like to wish a great success for both CCI conference today and ACD 17th ministerial meeting tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you once again, President. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Now the floor is President of Laos National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Vibra. The floor is yours. Please open the microphone.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the opportunity. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, hope all is well and nice to meet you all here. My name is Vibun Sitimolada from the Lao National Chamber of Commerce and Industries in Lao PDR. Again, thank you, and I'll be very brief. Although we are a small economy, and as some of you may know, we are a small consumer market locally. Laos is one of the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia. Laos continue to offer diversity in business investments, business opportunities, with a lot of excitements and a lot of unknown opportunities in the region, with an aim that Laos becomes a gateway to ASEAN markets. Laos has a strategic geographic advantage, untapped natural resources, a lot of land mass for development, renewable energy potentials such as solar and wind. With the exception of last year, where, as you know, economic growth contracted for Laos as well. Our growth contracted largely due to the COVID-19. But apart from that, the growth has been around 7% or higher back to back over several years, despite a number of challenges locally. Our Lao economy is set to recover in 2021 and in the medium term as well, bounding back to around 4.5% this year. Business can certainly resume. We expect services to resume. A lot of trading partners to come back as well. Good news is that the 422-kilometer China-Laos railway, which is a major infrastructure investment for the regional connectivity, is scheduled to be completed and operational in December this year. Overall, we certainly welcome more FDIs to Laos, which is a land link to ASEAN and to the China markets. If you're interested to learn more about the investment opportunities, please get in touch. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Now the floor is Jamal, Palestine Chamber of Commerce. My brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rifat.
I am hearing you very well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything, for all your long support for the Palestinian in all aspects. And thank you also for this kind invitation. It's true, I think the year of 2020 witnessed a decline in gross domestic product in GDP of 12% compared to 2019. However, this decline depended on the impact of with the impact of the pandemic, which made the Palestinian government take a number of emergency measures to be imposed, including partial and total lockdowns. At the expenditure level, gross consumption in Palestine dropped during the same period by 6%, whereas gross investment dropped by 36%, unfortunately. Most economic activity witnessed a noticeable decline in the value added during 2020 compared to 2019. The service activity also recorded the highest drop value by 10%. The construction activity witnessed decline of 35%, followed by the industry activity, which showed also a decline of 12%, and the agriculture activity witnessed decrease by 11%. More than 66,000 employees have lost their jobs during 2020, leading to an increase in the employment rate, which reached 27.8%, and resulting a decline of 14% in GDP per capita, and new segments of the population entering poverty and extreme poverty, unfortunately. In 2020, the volume of trade exchange and from Palestine reached $10 billion, which a decline of 10% compared to 2019. This resulted from a decline of 7% in exports, which reached $2.5 billion, and a decline of 11% in imports, which reached $7.4 billion. Therefore, the trade balance witnessed deficits of around $5 billion. And I think everybody knows the unique circumstances of the Palestinians, where we are still under occupation, and of course not forgetting the Israeli procedures and due procedures in the to highlight the annexation plan, including the Trump sanctions also on the Palestinians by cutting the supports, and where also they are preventing other countries to support the Palestinians. So the Palestinian economy went into really bad situations by the 2020. But even though we have an opportunity in Palestine where we have a genuine industrial free zone state, which is run by the TOBIS, which is the technical arm of the TOBB. So where we invite everyone to come and invest in this area where it has a lot of competitive advantage, especially in through the agreements signed between Palestine and different countries, such as the European countries, Canada, and the United States, and other countries also, where can be also an added value for the investments. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Rifat. And we wish to see you very soon, face to face, hopefully, inshallah.
Thank you, my brother. Inshallah, we will see each other very soon. I said last, but now Indian Chamber of Commerce contact with me, Mr. Rohit Sharma.
Mr. Rifat Hashoglu, President Top, Mamnun Muldum once again. So thank you so much on behalf of Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry FICCI. it is a pleasure. We were indeed, fortunate to receive you at our office in 2015. So your visit to India is overdue, and we are looking forward that your situation gets better and you are able to get the opportunity to travel to India. So on behalf of Fiki and myself, it's an honor and privilege to be there at today's interaction. As we all know, at the backdrop of the massive economic as well as social disruption that has resulted due to the pandemic, many companies and organizations have had to reevaluate the business continuity plans and exigency strategies. So likewise, the same thing has happened in India. We are literally seeing a next wave of internal churning happening within the economic system that we have, and it is getting robust by the day. And the objective definitely remains to battle the challenges and gear up for the possible new opportunities which are emerging and which are being thrown open by the ongoing pandemic that we are seeing. So as India's largest and oldest apex industry association, we yearn to work collectively with other industry chambers of ACD members as partners in progress in nurturing the mechanism for inclusive growth amidst this ongoing pandemic. As far as cooperation in information communication technology, which has actually got a new meaning in the current pandemic, the kind of online platforms we are seeing. So there is evolving innovation which is happening, which is in a way creating new platforms for us to forge deeper alliances. Likewise, the way we are meeting today. So the bridging digital divide amongst ACD members, the kind of platforms that we are today using could be the answer for that. So likewise, realizing its relevance, India under Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi had undertaken a visionary initiative called Digital India. So it is an initiative to leverage the power of technology and make technology more accessible and work towards developing of secure and stable digital infrastructure. And this is literally the need of the hour that we realize today. Despite the lockdowns, the travel curbs, we are still able to meet, hear out what is happening, what are the possibilities today for our companies to forge new business, economic, investment alliances, especially the technological alliances. So I think the time is now for us to just assess what is happening in terms of the technology. PK looks forward to synergies of mutual collaboration with the industry of member countries in the sustainable digital infrastructure and in development of new technology, such as quantum computing, artificial intelligence, agri-tech, health tech, and blockchain, as well as in IT training and education facilities. So apart from Digital India, major Indian development programs like Skill India, Startup India, Smart Cities give ample opportunities for increased collaborations with business organizations of ACD member countries, as they have business expertise in these areas as well. So healthcare, since healthcare has assumed a greater significance in terms of what and how we really need to work together for seeking an answer for this kind of a surge that we have seen in the last 1 year or so. So we really need to just work collectively in terms of finding new solutions, very affordable and far-reaching solutions for addressing the healthcare needs of our people. So disruption caused by the pandemic must be seen as an opportunity for sure to radically reform the healthcare sectors within our countries. The relevance of digital innovation is more felt in the present impact of COVID-19 on business culture, where work from home is being adopted in a big way, as we all are getting aware by the day. So we look forward to collaborations and working together in terms of the health security and pandemic crisis preparedness and response, particularly linked to COVID-19 outbreak as on date. But there are many other opportunities that we can look forward to, especially when you see the best facilities, healthcare facilities are being provided in India at very affordable cost. The sheer quantum of vaccines which are being created right now in India, which are being exported world over, is going to set the precedent for us to emulate eventually, for us to forge new collaborations in terms of technology, in terms of new solutions to be given to our people. So evolution of teleconsultation and e-pharmacy will be the new norm, and around 15 to 20% of the healthcare ecosystem is expected to shift to virtual case across triaging, consultations, remote monitoring, health, home health, etc. So there is a growth in virtual case such as teleconsult, as has been mentioned, and e-pharmacy in India due to the current pandemic situation. So the teleconsultation and e-pharmacy will account for around 95%. It is quite substantive, 95% of the telemedicine market by 2025, which amounts to close to $5.2 billion within our system. So another promising area of collaboration is biotechnology. Being multidisciplinary in nature has become a powerful enabling technology with applications in many sectors, including agriculture, forestry, fishing, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, chemicals, textile, food processing, environmental aspects, energy and mining. These are some of the very critically important sectors for us to assess those key points where we can actually sow the new seeds of our collaboration in the coming years. And this 1 year has actually given us that breathing time for just understand and assess what needs to be done in terms of deepening our economic engagements. So we have been doing pretty well, especially with Turkey also, with other countries as well. But what really needs to be done in the coming years, months, it has to be a day-to-day analysis of the situation and the key USPs that Indian economy affords, and how best we can just forge new alliances with our counterparts globally. So tourism, being a soft power with people-to-people connects, plays a crucial role in sustainable social, cultural, environmental, and economic growth and expansion of the Asian nations. Doing so, a cohesive and constructive cooperation among Asian countries is vitally recommended. With these words, I once again thank TOB for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to express my views in front of such august gathering. So, Teşekkürler. Over to you, Mr. Ajoglu.
Thank you, my friend Rohit. I said last, but positive discrimination for ladies. Amelia, you're from Singapore Business Federation. Last.
Yes.
Not but not least, President Rifat. We would like to thank President Rifat of TOB, ACD, Excellencies, and esteemed colleagues at the ACD member countries for inviting us to the first virtual conference. My name is Amelia Yo, and I work at SBF at the Turkey desk. A little bit about SBF. We were established in the 1st of April, 2002. The Singapore Business Federation is the apex business chamber championing the interests of Singapore business community. With 27,200 members, companies, SBF focus is to sense, prioritize, analyze, and help resolve burning issues facing significant segments of businesses. All Singapore registered companies with a share capital of $500,000 Singapore dollars and above are members of SBF. As a bridge between Singapore business community and this government, SBF advocates firmly on behalf of businesses and our workforce, as well as international setting to promote the growth and vibrancy of our business community, contributing to the prosperity of Singapore. The Federation works closely with key local and foreign business chambers and has inaugurated the Trade Association and Chamber Alliance to be a better enabler for the business community. Singapore's GDP contracted by 5.8% for the whole of 2020, less than expected. This is an improvement on the Ministry in Trade and Industry's forecast. The recession has wreaked havoc across a broad swath of the economy and wiped out thousands of jobs for us. However, Singapore's success in containing COVID-19 with 29 deaths as of 17th of January 2021 and the lifting of mobility restrictions in the final 2 quarters has helped to improve economic activity. Manufacturing surged strongly in 2020 due to expansions in the electronics, biomedical, manufacturing, and precision engineering clusters. But services such as aviation, tourism, and hospitality-related industries are still sluggish. Despite the better than expected 4th quarter and full year 2020 performance, the forecast by the Ministry of Trade and Industry for 2021 is expected to be 4 to 6% growth. The economy is not expected to return to pre-COVID-19 until the end of 2021. Recovery will be more U-shaped than V, with GDP returning to pre-pandemic only in early 2022. The effective vaccination will improve both businesses and consumer confidence. However, the timing of when international borders reopen is the key to when wholesale, retail trade, accommodation, and food services and other services will recover here. Recovery in 2021 will be encouraged by a wide availability of the vaccine, more stable US-China trade relations, stronger regional trade ties, continued fiscal support, and lower for longer interest rates. We are grateful that Turkey-Singapore Free Trade Agreement, TRS-FTA, came into force in October 2017. Since ratification, bilateral trade has increased by 12% to about 2 billion in 2019. SBS relationship with top and marketing of Turkey and Singapore companies and Turkey and Turkish companies. SBF continues to engage with Turkey throughout the years and has worked with the Turkish Embassy, Singapore Embassy in Turkey, and the Singapore government agencies and with Turkish institutions to raise the profile of Turkey through webinars, seminars, and forum. We have also led a mission in conjunction with the Prime Minister's visit to Turkey. SBF looks forward to fostering closer collaboration between Turkey and the Singapore and international business communities. Thank you very much.
Now, thank you very much for your contributions. Now, we shall move to the presentation based on the research conducted by the Economic Policy Research Foundation, TEPAL. I am pleased to invite Professor Yuan Sak to deliver his presentation on the future agenda for the business community of the ACD member countries in the post-COVID era. He will also moderate the debate after his report. Professor, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me try to share my screen. But I have been following the discussions. I think we have enough material already. Me and my colleagues are also taking notes. So let me find the way to start this. Okay. Okay. We already have enough notes. The objective was to, also to prepare the community of this Asian Cooperation Dialogue business meeting. It's the first of its kind, this virtual meeting. But I'll be very brief. Many of the issues, as I told you, were raised as far as I see, but it's about how to think about an agenda for ACD for 2021 and later on. I first put this cartoon at the start because still there is, immense uncertainty regarding how things are going to move forward. But besides that, despite that uncertainty about the new normal, I think we can easily say that, as raised by our friends before, this process, the center of economic gravity, coming back to the region is still continuing, as you can see, as it was, let's say, 2,000 years ago, and it's also in the numbers too. This looks to be the age of Asian transformation. In 1980, the West, US, and the EU composed of 55% of world GDP, and today that has declined to 42%. Whereas the ACD countries increased from 20% to 37%, thanks largely to China, of course. Now is the time to make development transformation more even all throughout Asia, as far as we see. And you can also look at the share in global manufacturing. The West has declined from 46 to 34% from 1997 to 2019. Whereas Asia has increased from 37 to 52%. But the West is still, I noted as the major market, but the most sophisticated market, which is very much important for the competitiveness of all our economies. And the green transformation process that looks to be on the agenda in the West, I think is very much important for our countries. So what's next? I think COVID-19 has intensified change. I'd like to underline a few issues regarding that. This is just to show how Asia has changed from 1992 to 2013. These are the night lights seen from space. This is the case in 1992. And this is the situation in 2013. And the lines you are seeing over there are the railway lines. That looks to be important for the connectivity of our nations in the coming period. And if you look at the importance of the importance of the connections between different countries, you see that there are top 3 economies in terms of global value chains: US, China, and Germany. And our countries are noted, the countries in Asia are mostly around China, but Turkey is around Germany as being part of the European value chains. And the other countries in Asia that are part of these value chains, global value chains, are noted in dotted red lines. The important issue, I think, in the past, in the coming future, is to strengthen these global value chains that are passing in our countries. And this graph is just show where our countries are. There is a kind of differences in terms of the level of complexity of our economies when you look at the ACD. And if you look at the countries on the upper right quadrant, where India and Turkey are very much together, those are the countries that has the highest probability of making a jump further if the right policies are followed. But in all other countries, in all other quadrants, the important issue is to focus on the right policies and kind of put together a policy dialogue process between the governments and the business communities in order to achieve for all countries to reach their potential as quickly as possible. Let me see. So this is a major trend that's happening all around the world. The production centers are still moving towards Asia. Asia is still becoming more and more important, but also there are global megatrends that we need to take into account, and where within the ACD, in discussing about Asian transformation, we need to underline the importance of these issues too. One is climate change. So climate change is important now, and it's going to become more important as green transformation looks to be the major way to get out of the COVID-19, because in the past, there are new technologies to transform the old industries, but it was too costly to make those investments for the transformation of those sectors. But now, during this COVID-19 period, with the low interest rates in the West, it's becoming more and more possible. So, and secondly, with oil prices to decline as a result of green transformation, diversification is going to be the major issue that needs to be taken into account. And as far as we can all see, there is going to be a new technology race in applying, in transforming the economies, starting from the West. So there is the need to follow in order to achieve the same level of competitiveness. Secondly, the demographic change is there, and it's going to continue. There is aging population in the north, and there is a youth bulge in the south, and the migration flows are going to be on the agenda anyway. So this also needs to be taken into account. And thirdly, there is technological change. We are now seeing that both digitalization, robotization, and developments in biotech are going to be more and more important, and COVID-19 seems to have exacerbated that process of technological change, as I have mentioned, with respect to the green transformation agendas that are shaping up. And data security and data issues are going to be very much important. Now we have COVID-19, but COVID-19 has not changed in all these trends, but what we are going to see is we are going to have a COVID-19 induced technological change in the period to come. Today we have now getting more and more accustomed to telecommuting, remote learning, and rapid technological change. And you know, all these Zoom-like instruments we are using more. These video conferencing tools are developing very rapidly. And tomorrow, what we are going to see is that rapid technological change is going to become a possibility with quantitative easing and lower rates in the West. So the rest, the countries like us, needs to do something in order to improve our competitiveness in this coming age of rapid technological change. Some of these issues, you know, the technological change that we are seeing has been mentioned, especially the participant from India has noted many of them. From remote learning to telemedicine to AI and quantum computing, all these things are going to speed up and going to become more and more important in our lives. And if our type of countries also do not participate in these discussions as quickly as possible, then we can easily lose the competitiveness of our economies in the coming period. So, in addition to the issues that you have raised, I have noted here three important issues that are important in Asia, which can easily be placed in the agenda of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue, the business agenda of the Asian Cooperation Dialogue. One is, as mentioned, many of the delegates, participants, more trade connectivity throughout Asia. One is hardware, more container and data routes are important, of course, but there is also a software of this trade connectivity where there is the need to streamline, make easier border crossing rules and regulations for both people-to-people connectivity and also for goods passing through borders. And there is also the issue of data governance in Asia that we need to focus on, because in the past, you know, we passed from goods passing borders to factories passing borders, period. That was the late 1980s, let's say. That's how the production centers started to move towards the east. But now, with this new technological change, with this new computing power that we are all developing, it is all about data passing through borders that's going to be important. And I think it's time to get ready for that. When you talk about data passing through borders, although that e-commerce activities are very much related with data governance regulations, data governance policies, in our government. So I think those issues need to be taken into account within the framework of Asia Cooperation Dialogue Business Forum. There is also the need to focus on green transformation in Asia, because if the name of the game will be green transformation, if these carbon emissions are going to be an important issue in the near future, and if we are going to see some trade restrictions due to these carbon emissions, I think it is important to be ready for green transformation in our type of economy, starting from energy transition. But we shouldn't forget that this green transformation is not about environment. It's also about more new technologies. It's kind of a race for more competitiveness in the economy. So I see this as a kind of a huge cooperation area in Asia in the near future. And let me finish by just noting that firstly, the COVID-19 will exacerbate, will push forward transformative change all around the world, and new technologies are going to transform our lives more rapidly, because we have now seen the new possibilities by the help of these lockdowns, basically. This remote communication mechanisms, remote working, remote learning are all things, all those technologies were available beforehand, but we now have started to use them. And now, from now on, starting from e-trade, these new technologies are going to transform our lives, daily lives, very rapidly. So it's all about us, what the rest, if you consider the West and the rest, could do to gain from this coming age of rapid change. It's time to be more agile. It's time to be more connected. It's time for a more strong, direct Asian dialogue. And as far as I see, it is also time, for example, I see G20 as an important mechanism in this age of rapid change. It's time to make G20 work for the developing countries and for Asia more. That's the way to make 21st century the Asian century, and it looks to be highly probable, highly possible as far as I see. So let me stop here. If you have any questions, comments, the issues that you haven't raised before, let me now take those. And by the way, I have to find a way to close this down. You hear me? I'm trying to find a way.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay, you just do that. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Things that you haven't raised before? What we are going to do, as far as I know, maybe Mustafa could correct me, we are going to prepare a communique, and Rifat Bey is going to present it tomorrow, I think, for the official Asian Cooperation Dialogue meeting.
Thank you very much, Professor Sak. Yes, tomorrow the foreign ministers has allocated us a 3-minute slot. Just to report that we had this meeting, and it will be only a reporting. Unfortunately, nothing as a communique in the end of this meeting. It will be just a reporting to the ministers. But it's good starting, I think. At least they will give us, even if it is 3 minutes, a slot. And they will be informed that we hold this meeting with the participation of 33 countries out of 35. Just to report you, ladies and gentlemen, there are 35 members for the ACD dialogue, and today we had 33 countries participated. Thank you very much once again.
So, is there any comment to Professor Sak? There is no comments. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, I think we had a very useful conference. I appreciate your presentations and feedbacks. It was very interesting to learn about experiences in your countries and exchange our views on the current state of affairs. It was the first meeting of ACD chambers, and we sincerely hope that this initiative will continue and new meetings will be organized. Tomorrow, I will report this meeting to Foreign Minister meeting of Asian Cooperation Dialogue. Thank you very much and stay healthy. Bye-bye to everybody.